So, hello. Welcome to the Global Therapy Room. This is my private practice. I am a art psychotherapist and counselor, and I work online and I work face-to-face here in New Zealand currently. So, I wanted to bring today this very soothing art therapy practice, which is going to be a mixture of breathwork and creativity, soothing creativity. So this is more so using art as therapy rather than art therapy in the psychotherapy sense, which is kind of diving a little deeper, giving space to trauma, channeling into our subconscious minds, and really using sensory parts to access maybe non-verbal parts of our lives, such as when we're very young, toddlers, babies, that kind of thing. This can be a really great way to work on your breath work, but also just to help relax and self-soothe. And we're going to do it together in a very guided manner. Hello, welcome. Welcome. Kia ora. Good morning, good afternoon, no matter where you are in the world. Lovely to have you here today with me. Thank you so much for being here. Kia ora, welcome. Hello, welcome. How is everyone doing today? I'm just going to change my camera so you guys can see me. For those who are on Insight Timer. Hello. Kia ora and welcome. Let me know where you guys are from, what part of the world you are in at the moment. That's always really interesting to know. Whilst we're waiting for a few more people to come and join, feel free to grab some art materials. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can just be the basic pen and pencil, or perhaps some markers, if you have some markers lying around, and some coloring pencils, and just a bit of paper. Something very simple. Amy, hello from Florida. Hi, Amy. What time is it in Florida for you at the moment? Is it quite hot over there right now? So if you're just joining, do grab yourself some art materials so that you can join in the creative circle today. You are more than welcome to just observe this time around. I am trying to get into a habit of doing some lives weekly. I won't always be doing creative circles every week, but most weeks. It's quite a fun and different thing to do, I think, as well in the community. So do join in. Nada, hi, I'm from Saudi Arabia. Nice. I was actually just talking to my friend about Saudi Arabia yesterday. He's thinking about moving back to that side of the world. What tools specifically do we need? So you don't need anything fancy. You can start off with just some coloring pencils and a piece of paper if you would like. If you feel more comfortable using some pens or some markers, anything that you feel most drawn to at the moment, especially if this is new to you. Definitely just go for what is more comfortable. I've got a few different options with me today. So I have some watercolors just as this cute little travel palette that I can take around with me. So sometimes I like to use those. I also have this little pot of pens, and they're very random. I have a few more pens than this, but I thought I would just grab a bunch and chuck them in here and see if I use them or not today. I also have some coloring pencils with me as well. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to reach for. I just decide in the moment when we get started, but I've got a few different options with me, but I'm quite comfortable with this. So if you're already intimidated by more than one option, more than one material to use, then just reach for one and go from there. So hello everyone that's just joined. Feel free to introduce yourselves. Let me know what part of the world you are in and what time it is. I'm always curious about that. In Florida, Amy, it's 8 p.m. It's warm but cool at night. That's nice. I always imagine Florida to be like really hot and stuffy. That's kind of how New Zealand can get at the moment. It's summer here. So for those who don't know, my name is Tanisha, and I'm an art psychotherapist and counsellor. And currently I am living in Auckland in New Zealand. So I have a private practice, which is called the Global Therapy Room. And I work with clients from all over in different capacities. A lot of my work is online, and it's one-to-one work, but also workshops, webinars, some that are more tailored specifically to certain interests. Like I am really interested in race and cultural issues, and so I do quite a few workshops around those, and those can be really popular. And I like to use art making to help process some of that too, because that can be a really heavy subject for many. Trauma as well is another one of my key specialties, and art therapy is also fantastic for that. Talk therapy is great for that too. Psychotherapy kind of gets to the depths of things. And then art therapy can be a way to hold really complex feelings and emotions and help process them. So that's a little bit about what I do. You can find out more about my offerings on my profiles and the links that follow them. So thank you for joining today. So a lot of you, it's in the evening. It's 8 p.m. That's interesting. I think that's the first time I've had that. There's been a lot of mixture, mostly, in terms of what time everyone is at, what day everyone is at. So for me today, it is 2 p.m. Well, it's not 2 p.m. anymore, but it's 2:07 in the afternoon on Tuesday. New Zealand is usually ahead. And usually I like to do these on Mondays so that I can reach more people on Sunday. And Sunday is a really great time to do this kind of thing, I find, before heading into the new week. But yesterday was a bank holiday, so I took the day off. Oh, wow, Nada, it's 4:07 in the morning. That is very early. I hope that you can find this quite soothing to do. We're not going to do anything too deep today. Sometimes we do just sit with emotions, and if you have difficult emotions, those can arise. But today we're really going to be focusing on the breath and relaxing a little bit more into this process. So last chance to grab some materials. Well, not last chance. You can grab them whenever you like. But feel free to grab them now because I am going to get started very soon. Like I said before, you don't need anything fancy, just a piece of paper and a couple of, pens, maybe some pencils. whatever you feel comfortable with. It's not so much about what we are going to make aesthetically, it's more about the process that we're going to go through. All right. So I'm going to start getting into it today. So typically, if you've been to these before, I like to do the creative circle as a way to emotionally check in with ourselves using art making and art materials. And that's been a really nice way just to see where the body is at and see what emotionally might be sitting with us and creating space for that through art making. And the art itself almost acts as a container for feelings. And that's especially powerful when those are difficult feelings that we're containing here. But today we're going to go through something a little bit different. I wanted to do a breathwork exercise alongside the art making process. And we're going to be aligning our strokes and mark making along with our breath. So, really channeling into the present and channeling into the body, using the breath to help soothe, whilst also engaging our senses through the art making process. So, this is going to be a little bit different to how I've run it before, but it's nice to play around with the different ways that we can use art therapy. So, since this is evening for many of you, this is a really relaxing way to enter into the evening as you settle down for nighttime. So, thank you for joining today. If you're just arriving, you can still grab something as I'm kind of talking and guiding you through, and hop on board anytime you feel comfortable and feel ready. But if you just want to observe and just kind of be in the space with us today, then you're welcome to do that as well. So we're going to simply start by channeling our energies and attention into the body. Just notice that feeling of contact that you have, whether you are lying down or sitting, with the floor, the chair. You can do this with your eyes open or closed. Notice any sounds that you can hear around you. Notice any sensations. Notice how the hands feel, depending on where they are placed today. Notice any contact the feet have with the floor, with other parts of the body. Are there any smells that you can notice? And also, are there any tastes? Any residual tastes in the mouth? Anything you can see if you have your eyes open? And now I want you to bring the attention to the tip of your nose, where the air flows in and out of the nostrils. Just rest your attention there for a moment. Does the air feel cool entering through the nostrils? How does it compare when it is leaving the nostrils on your out-breath? You don't need to change the pace of your breathing in any way. I just want you to notice the breath as it enters, leaves, enters, leaves. So, continue in this manner. I'm just going to switch over my camera here. And you're welcome to reach for anything that's either convenient to you or something that you feel comfortable working with today. But I'm just going to show you a little bit about what we're doing. I'll show you first with pencil. So my attention is placed on the breath as it goes in through the nose and out through the nose. And as I go in through the nose, I just create a line and out, just breathing in, out, in, out, in, out. So because I'm not in a completely rested space, I'm focusing a little bit here on presenting. So my breath is a little, not quick, but not too slow either. And I'm just essentially making lines, and you can make marks as well. They might look something like this. Perhaps they'll look something like this. Perhaps they'll look something like this. This might be more suitable if your breath is a little quick today. So I'm really just allowing myself not to worry too much about what I'm doing and why, and just really moving with the breath in, out. And if you start to feel comfortable doing this, you're welcome to deepen into that practice by allowing your out breath to be through an open mouth. And that's when you really have good control and attention on this. So you can use pencil or pen if you would like to. Since I've started with that, I think I'm just going to continue with it for now, but I might move to something else like watercolors, something painterly, because that can be quite relaxing to do strokes with, and I'm feeling quite relaxed today, so that feels suitable. So just notice what you're drawn to. You don't have to think too much about it. And just allow yourself to slowly move with the in and the out. And just allow this page, or whatever it is that you are creating on, to transform itself and reveal itself to you. And who knows what you may end up with. You're welcome to change colors, change mediums, and change the way that you're breathing and have a play around with it. So again, I'm just going to continue where I've left off. Allow myself to catch up with my breath so I've got that attention there. Breathing in and out. In, out. In, out, in, out, in, out. So just notice how slow or quick this breath is for you today. You're almost mapping out your breathing patterns in this way. Let me know if you have any questions. Perhaps you've just joined with us today. Welcome if you are just joining. Feel free to grab a piece of paper and something such as a pencil or a pen to join us with. We are just making lines with the breath in and out, just noticing where we are at today with our breath work. And this isn't about what it looks like. We don't need to be attached or committed to the image. You don't have to use pencil. You can use paints if you would like. I have some markers here that I might also use as well. Breathing in, out, 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 in, out. So I'm already finding this a really interesting way just to observe my breath and how it kind of fluctuates and comes back into a state of rest, essentially. And that's really nice to just notice and observe. Just keeping that mindful attention here, this bit of focus, mapping out the breath on whatever is in front of you. And this really does feel like a map to me in the way that I am doing these kind of straight, kind of jagged almost lines. And now that I've got those down, I'm kind of keen to honor my breath in a different movement and mark. So you don't have to stick with the same thing. Once you start it, you can change. Notice what feels restful for you. Have that sense of curiosity for your breath, what it's showing you today. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, and out, in, out, and so on. So as I'm observing my breath here, allowing myself to get more into this practice, I'm noticing these loops that are starting to naturally occur in the mark that I'm making. And that's just because the in and out of the breath, that motion, reminds me of almost a roller coaster. That in breath, which feels like it's creating that expansion, that anticipation, and then out where we release and the chest goes down, the lungs empty. You kind of go down that roller coaster loop and then back up again. And so that's what I'm noticing. I'm starting to relate to now, and that's what's coming up for me. That's how I'm starting to represent the breath. And I also feel that this more loopy motion feels more relaxing as I'm starting to relax into this process and feel more comfortable and at ease just observing my breath here. So again, just be a little gentle with yourself. If your breath is a lot quicker than mine and you're noticing a lot of this, that's okay. We're not attaching ourselves too much to the image at all. We're just going with our breath in and out, in and out, in and out. Just that motion. Resting into the breath and creating with the breath. This is not something that we are necessarily choosing to make for aesthetic purposes. This is what the breath is making today. This is the artwork the breath is creating for us. So that can be really interesting just to see what intuitively comes up for you. What marks feel right? Let your breath tell you what those are. It really doesn't require any skill creatively. The main development here is mindfulness, a bit of concentration, focus, and relaxation. A few more people have joined. Welcome. Feel free to jump on this as well. Even if you're a little late to the party, it's all good. All you need is some paper, a pen or pencil, and your breath. That's all you need for today. Allow yourself to be open to the process. So in and out. 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 So just notice when the in and out breaths are slightly longer or shorter than the last. I'm allowing myself to play with color here. And that's what it's really about, just being a little playful with the way that we work with mindfulness and breath work. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Let me know how this is going for you, if you're giving it a go today. Or if you're just observing, how is it like to observe? So again, as I've changed to a pencil, I'm just reconnecting with my breath again, just letting myself know, where am I at with it? Am I on an out breath? Am I on an in breath? And obviously, as I talk at the same time, it changes the frequency of breath. So once I catch up with it, I'm in, out. Now I'm just going to continue mark making. Nada, I feel relaxed. I'm really glad to hear that, especially because it's like 4 a.m. for you. So we want you to come away from this feeling as relaxed as possible. Rose, I'm drawn to fill in spaces with colored pencils. It's relaxing, but may not be the goal of your process. That's okay. It's funny, isn't it? When we find a new way to connect with our breath, but we throw in something pretty random, like art making, as a way to visualize the breath. It's quite a challenge and a different way of working, because we're also working with visual and we're not used to seeing our breath. You know, the only time you really get to see it is when it's super cold and you step outside and you see your breath. And even still, you're not witnessing the in, you're mostly witnessing the out. And it's not something that you have control over. It's just something that you kind of see. Whereas you can control the pencil, the pen, you can control what colors you want to use, you can control whereabouts you're going. Do you want to fill up the space or not? So if you notice you're drawn to blank spaces here in this process, just again reconnecting and always coming back to that breath, just the in and the out. So even if you want to fill in just this little space here, for example, in, out, in, out, in, out. Even allow the hand to rock back and forth with the breath. Allow the body even to move with the breath. We're really allowing our breath to be in the driver's seat and to take control here. We are just giving permission to bear witness to our breath in this creative process. But this is not about how it looks. We can get very attached to that, but we're letting go of aesthetics. And I feel that that's a really important thing to practice doing anyway in this world, where visuals and aesthetic and what things look like and the control we try to have around all of that, it can be very much pushed in that direction. And that can also be quite draining for us, and doesn't allow ourselves just to let go and just be free. Maybe let go of the control here. Maybe it's a bit messy. Maybe it's not completely filled up. That's okay. Let me know how you're getting on if you are giving this a good go. So I'm just returning to my breath. It changes once I've spoken. So I'm just checking in, catching up with it. Out. In. Out. What may help you just get into the flow is notice the way that you are holding your pen, pencil, paintbrush, whatever it might be. Just hold it a little loosely. If you feel like you are trying to get too much control, you might be right at the end of right at the front of the pen or pencil here. Allow yourself to scale back. Maybe hold it in a way that doesn't usually feel right to you because you don't have the same level of control. And then just graze over the page to your breath, almost as if you are a composer of the breath. And just like music, the breath changes. Something might come up, you might think of something, remember something, and then suddenly the breath speeds up a little. And then it slows back down. Maybe the out breath is longer, and then it goes back to normal. So relax into the process. No need to over-attach yourself to anything here. Just observe, play with it a little. If you're going to control anything in this moment, how about controlling the colors? Because I am going to use a different one. And it's fun to see what ends up being created just through mixing different colors, which is something that I can control and I'm choosing. And then where the breath takes me, which is something I'm choosing not to control. My breath is revealing itself to me. Love constantly watching the breath and letting it be in charge. Exactly, Amy. That's exactly what this is about. Our breath is this incredibly powerful tool. It is life. Because without breath, we don't have life. So let it be bold, let it be messy, let it take up space, let it be in control, and just allow yourself to trust it, relax into it, form a relationship with it. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. It might be that for you, if you find the visual distracting, allow yourself just to hold something in your hand, close your eyes, and just drift the hand over the page as your breath tells you to. As you breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So you can really see here, I am completely switching sides of this pencil and just allowing it to stroke across. Not worried about what it looks like or why. Almost like my hand is dancing to the beat of the breath. That's kind of what we're doing today. Everyone, we are dancing to the breath. And you can continue like this, in this manner. And you can use this whenever you need to. This is really great for anyone who might be neurodivergent and struggle sometimes in the more traditional methods of mindfulness and maybe meditation practice. This can be a really great way to still access that without necessarily having to do it in the kind of more formal and focused manner. You're allowing yourself to be a little bit playful here. Perhaps if you are on the spectrum or you have some kind of ADHD, the added kind of colors and tools that we're using physically can be another way that we really channel energy and focus and attention into this present moment and into our breath, which is ultimately the key aim of mindfulness practice and meditation. Because in this moment and experience, we're only being present and we're only being present with the breath. And that's it. We're not thinking about the past. We're not thinking about the future. We're not worrying about the next thing to do or the other things in our list or what's going to happen tomorrow. We're just allowing ourselves just to be and having a fun play with it. And maybe every time that you do something like this, you may come up with something completely different, completely random combination of colors. And that might be really interesting to see what kind of art the breath produces for you each and every time. So as we start to finish up today, let me know, how this breathwork practice combined with creativity, art therapy was for you. Have you ever tried something like this before? Was this new for you today? Did you learn or discover anything new about this experience? Did you find it challenging? So let me know how you got on before we head off. This can be a really, really fun way to check in with yourself creatively, and all you need is a pen and a piece of paper. And that's just as simple as that. And, we don't need to always do meditation in the most traditional sense and fashion. And it doesn't always work for everyone. We're all different, we're all wired differently. And so have a play around with how this can work for you. You don't even have to do it the same way that I did it. It might be that you use the strokes themselves to train the breath to become slower and become deeper. So just notice what you need, notice what works for you, and play around with it, have fun with it, try different colors, try different art materials, notice how it feels to use different materials as well. I know for me, this was really relaxing for me to do this afternoon, and I feel quite good, quite rested. It's a nice little break for me during the workday. So I think I'm going to do something like this again. It's nice to do different types of creative circles that have different taster sessions of what art therapy could look like. Like I said, I do have a lot of different things going on in my virtual private practice, the Global Therapy Room. I have my one-to-ones, I have my workshops, and I have my groups. And a lot of those are also very creative therapy based too. And it's really fun to look at the different ways that we can approach our internal systems, do some kind of healing of trauma, inner child work, and so on. So do check those out if this is your first time here with me today. Do also give me a follow and stay in touch with me as I post more of these. I'm trying to do one of these a week, as I mentioned, and it's something different and something creative and a good way for us to be curious with our internal worlds and explore that safely. So thank you so much for joining me today. Nada, this is new to me and I really love it. Thank you, Tanisha. You're so welcome. And I hope that this was helpful for you to rest into this time of the morning as well. I've done breath meditation art, but never for so long. It really kept me focused much longer than usual. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm really glad to hear that. It was a good amount of time, I feel, not too long, not too short, and it's a nice little way of having a creative meditation break. So I hope to see many of you next time. Do stay in touch and take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.